Hello everybody, today we have got some of the jankiest decks we have ever had on MTG Phil. This is a red and blue elemental blast deck. So first of all, I'm sorry about my voice, but I just couldn't wait any longer before making a new video. So here it is. This is the deck where you can understand, if you look at it a bit more closely, what kind of synergy we have got. And of course it's very difficult to make these things work, but when it does work it feels really great. So let's get down to the deck and then we're going to look at this deck in action, looking at the Forge games. So first of all, the mana base, we have got 7 mountains and also 7 islands. So this deck is pretty much counterbalanced in terms of red and blue. And of course we need a lot of colored mana of specific color. So we've got 4 volcanics and 4 cities of brass, even though it can hurt sometimes, but you will see that of course very often it will save us. We don't have the soul ring, we don't need the colorless mana that much. Of course we do have the Moxen in the appropriate colors and Black Lotus as well. Also, for the usual suspects, we of course have got Ancestral Recall, which is not included for a blue deck, and not that obvious but still a lovely card. A restricted card of course is Brain Geyser, and Brain Geyser is here to give us that card advantage because this deck is inherently at card disadvantage. And again, we will see why it is so. Also, to compensate for that card disadvantage, we have got Jamed Tomes. So 2 copies, nothing really special. So it is what it is. Next, we have got the aggro package, because this is a slightly controlish deck if it manages to do well. But we also want to have the creatures to attack with, and we have got 3 copies of Beasts of Bogardan. So it's a card that is not that impressive, of course. It is a 3/3 card, or 4/4 if your opponent has any white permanents, non-token permanents, I think it says in the errata, and also protection from red, which is not that bad, so cannot be bolted. But also of course we have got Sleight of Mind, which is pretty important, and we'll talk about it now, how it works in this deck. So next we have got Spinal Villain, another sideboard card perhaps you would say. Only 1/2 for 3 mana, quite a terrible bargain here, but for tapping you can destroy target blue creature, and by itself it's actually quite good because you can reuse it if your opponent plays blue. Of course there are not so many aggro blue decks, Merfolk, but where was the last time you have seen Merfolk deck? But at the same time we can fight against some Djinn, for example Hamoted Djinn or Serendib Afreed, so that's not impossible to meet one. And also let's not forget that there are a lot of shenanigans that help us with the exact colors that we've got. So next is the jankiest card of them all. For 7 mana you got a 6/6, but you know, if you think that it's a bad deal, then let's see what you actually have to do with this card. So for some weird reason it doesn't even have proper protection from red. No, it cannot only be blocked by red creatures. So as if protection from red is too much to ask, especially with the terrible drawback that we have here. So as a drawback you have to sacrifice an island to this beast, otherwise it will smash you for 6 and go back to the depth where it came from, meaning that it's going to be buried. Next, a card that is definitely a sideboard one, and even then not so good, but it's just an amazing card, the art that I was always fascinated with, and it's one of those things that you never ever see in old school Magic. So again, it's quite debatable which of these cards is more rare, but I guess that probably Magnetic Mountain is even less frequently seen than this guy. So what it says is blue creatures do not untap as normal. During upkeep, must spend 4 to untap. So yes, essentially this means that they become paralyzed, and it's a kind of a good analogy because yes, you've got this magnetic effect, and of course it requires a lot of effort to get rid of it. So that's how it works. And now for the combo part, of course. So why do we have all of these clearly sideboard cards in our main deck? So number one, we have got Sleight of Mind. So not 4 but just 3 copies, and I will show you why now. Sleight of Mind is a great card that will help you to change the color that is mentioned in the text. So therefore we have to say, for example, we can say, with Sleight of Mind, that this Spinal Villain doesn't destroy a blue creature, but instead we can change blue to, for instance, green if you are playing against a green deck, and it will be destroying green creatures. And you can also, of course, do the same thing with Beasts of Bogardan. So, for instance, we can say that we replace one color word with another. So yeah, here you cannot do both, right? So protection from red, you cannot say protection from let's say blue, and also at the same time expect that the second ability will change. So no, we can change white for blue, then it will get +1/+1 if your opponent has blue cards. Or we can say the color of the protection will change, right? So that's the difference. Yeah, same thing can be done with this one. I also have tried it and it did work. So yeah, the problem with a Sleight of Mind is that it doesn't work for the other very important combo here. And if you're interested in this Sleight of Mind shenanigans, you can check out my video on Sleight Knight, which is one of the most popular decks that we have had on this channel, where we deal with our opponents' creatures by using Pestilence and having Circle of Protection black, but we can also change the Circle of Protection color, and we can change our Pump Knights, for example, and White Knight with different colors of protection. So there it is. So yes, the interesting part here is that we have got all of these blast cards, right? So we have got Blue Elemental Blast, Red Elemental Blast. Red Elemental Blast is a card you actually see quite often. So many decks run blue, it's even no wonder that this card can sometimes be even seen in the main deck. And we even have got the, let's say, 5th and the 6th copy of those Elemental Blasts. Yeah, okay, that's right. That's how it is. I was thinking that we probably have more, but no, that's right. We have got essentially 6 copies, because yeah, here is Flash Flood, and here is Active Volcano, right? And essentially what they do is pretty much the same as Blue Elemental Blast, Red Elemental Blast, except that it destroys permanent. It cannot counter, but it can bounce a land. And yes, I wouldn't say that it is strictly better. I mean, of course, the Red Elemental Blast or Blue Elemental Blast is strictly better because countering is much more important. But who knows, maybe there are some corner cases where you can actually make use of this card. Who knows? Next, how does it work, right? Again, in addition to Sleight of Mind, we can use this, okay? So we can use Chaoslace, we can use Thoughtlace. These lace cards are pretty useless, but then you understand why they are made as interrupts. So essentially, as your opponent is playing, let's say, what is your opponent playing? Mind Twist, okay? So your opponent is playing Mind Twist, and here you have your Chaoslace. You cast Chaoslace on Mind Twist while it's still in this tag. It hasn't resolved. Mind Twist becomes red, and then you can counter it with Blue Elemental Blast because it counters a red spell. And all of these combinations are actually possible, so it does work. And what's very good is that each of these cards only cost 1 mana. We can also paint our opponent's creatures. So this only works on creatures, and it's a kind of a janky card, but the art is gorgeous here, and this one is just straight up funny, so, and maybe even a little bit creepy, but yeah, they are both very nice and very, very rarely seen cards. So yeah, we can paint as many cards of our opponent as we want to, but it only lasts until end of turn, and it only works on creatures. So again, imagine for instance you have got 2 Spinal Villains, and you can paint 2 of your opponent's creatures blue and shoot them with Spinal Villains. And this will only be done for 1 mana, so that's quite amazing. You see, the combos we have here are very mana efficient. And again, let's say destroying target permanent just with this combination, right, for 2 mana. But sadly, this will require 2 cards. So that's why I said that yes, we need Brain Geyser, we need the book. Perhaps this deck can be balanced a little bit better. But again, we will see how exactly it fares in the games. And overall, it has been really, really fun building it. I have spent a lot of time play testing it, maybe not altering it sufficiently, but at least you will see it in action, and I hope it's not going to be too embarrassing. So there it is.
Before we take a look at the games, I would like to remind you that we have got 2 patrons now, and this is certainly a great beginning, because we are moving forward our goal of 10 patrons before the 1st of October. So our current rank is 2 out of 10, which is Harlon Minotaur, who has, of course, 2 power, as you understand. So the road from Cavil to Leviathan is 20% complete, but 80% to go. Patreon.com/mtg_Phil. If you want to support the channel, there are 2 options. So you can just support the channel, think of it as a tip jar. And this will motivate me, this will help me create videos more frequently and dedicate a bit more time to editing and producing content. And if you want to have a custom video based on your request, then you have got the rare tier. But in any case, whether you support me on Patreon or not, I definitely appreciate it. And I would like to thank our supporters Cam and Plague Doctor.
Look at this deck in action. I chose this Angel Stasis deck, and let's just see how it works. Again, it is one of the jankiest decks I've ever made, maybe only topped by the Island Walk deck, but then again I'm not really sure. And let's just see if there is something that we can do at least. So cast Ancestral, always nice. And our opponent has got Kismet. Okay, so I'm not sure whether we have to deal with Kismet. Actually, Mana Vault is going to do some damage to our opponent. What's interesting is that technically we can even destroy a land. So why don't we do that? That would be fun, I guess. I don't know how many lands our opponent has, but just statistically speaking, I think that our opponent can be short on lands. So let's try that. Destroy target red permanent. Okay, let's see how this strategy is actually working. Okay, so there's a Mox Emerald. No lands. Okay, so this island coming into play tapped. It's actually nothing really special, to be honest with you. Magnetic Mountain? Yeah, I don't think so, because our opponent probably doesn't have blue creatures. But we can change that, right? With Sleight of Mind. But then again, if there is an angel, then angel is not going to be tapped. Alright, so yeah, I cannot pull off the second trick again. And again, how cool is that? You can have, of course, for 2 cards and 2 mana, you can have instant land destruction. Alright then. So, gotta use Tome. as soon as we can. Because we have to make sure that our opponent doesn't untap. So let's draw. And okay, so we have got the combo. So that's nice. Next turn, hope to be able to activate it. And look, we even have got Beasts of Bogardan. Okay, so yeah, time to use the combo. You know, honestly speaking, in all of my playtesting sessions, and I probably had too many, and still this deck is far from being optimal. I've never used it so aggressively in terms of land destruction that we could ditch out. Okay, and look, we even got Brain Geyser. So I guess I was just lucky, because my opponent is very unlucky. Yeah, so I think Beasts of Bogardan, here they come. And yeah, our opponent just keeps getting damage. And we will once again destroy the land. I know it's brutal. So third land. We used 6 cards for that. Okay, not gonna lie, but still. Okay, so how much can we do? 6 cards. Not bad. Not bad at all. Here's Brain Geyser for us. Yeah, I cannot play land. I will have to discard 1 City of Brass. But again, it's much more than what we need. Okay, black-white. Yes, it's not terrible, actually. Because I can quickly get rid of this stuff. Okay, so it looks like we're winning. And actually here, yeah, this is a kind of a bug, I guess. Because, okay, let's look here. So here's the card detail. I tried it in the mobile version, and I remember that Sleight of Mind didn't always work. Because, okay, here you see what it says. Protection from red, Beasts of Bogardan get +1/+1, as long as an opponent controls a non-token white permanent. Oh, wait, but it's white permanent. Okay, our opponent already has white permanent, so these guys are 4/4. All right, so yeah, I kind of mixed it up. Because it's protection from red, but yeah, white cards. Okay, so it's just attacking for the win. Hooray. Yeah, I promise you're not going to see such tremendous victories in the next game, I guess. Elder Spawn. Spicy. Okay, so our opponent starts with Ancestral. We have an Ancestral of our own. And what can we hope for this time? 2 mana. Okay, Ivory Tower. In response, going to draw. And probably, I'm going to make this Ivory Tower into a red permanent and then destroy it. Yeah, I think this is what we can do. Because the nice thing about it is that, yeah, look, it is blue. So the card frame is blue here. It's not really clear, but yeah, this is the blue frame. This is how it is indicated here. So yeah, the good thing about it is that it's not until the end of turn. I mean, Chaoslace and all of these pretty useless Laces cards, right? It's a rare, and everybody hates to get this card as a rare. It's probably some of the cheapest rares, if not the cheapest, in the original core sets. Okay, so yeah, now we're really short on mana, which is bad. Yeah, we cannot even use that. That's a shame. I'm not sure what we can do here. Nothing. We will just have to discard. I cannot even play a card for the sake of playing it. And we are getting destroyed. So that's the revenge for the previous game, where I just denied our opponent. Oh no, that's even worse. That's even worse. Again, we cannot. You see, it's very interesting because technically you would think, and again, correct me if I'm wrong, you definitely cannot do this in Forge. So I cannot, for example, cast Red Elemental Blast. Okay, so destroy target blue permanent. Okay, so for example, I want to target that. I cannot target it because it is not red. Okay, however, technically, when I play that, I would be able to cast Sleight of Mind and would be able to target this Icy Manipulator. However, I understand that this is probably the reason why they made Pyroblast and Hydroblast in Ice Age, because there it actually does pretty much the same thing, but it says destroy target permanent if it is red, for example, or if it is blue. So that's the much needed errata, but unfortunately, we cannot use it here. So what are we going to do? Nothing, sadly. Nothing, really. Of course, okay. Sleight of Mind still has its uses. For example, we'll be able to change the text of Spinal Villain, which is great, but still. Okay. Again, too many cards, too many cards. Sadly, I will have to discard... Well, okay, let's discard Flesh Flood. Alright. Need one more mana. So, let's see what's going to happen if I cast Spinal Villain. However, if I cast Spinal Villain, most likely our opponent has Counterspell or Mana Drain, and I will not be able to counter it. So perhaps it would be wise to wait one more turn. Oops. Okay. Right. I didn't expect that, really. Didn't expect that at all. I'm not sure what I should start discarding. Probably Elder Spawn. I'm not going to actually see Elder Spawn in this game, I'm afraid. Alright, that's perfect. Oh no, City of Brass. City of Brass is getting to... Okay, so at least we got the Lotus. At least we got the Lotus. So, let's see. Our opponent doesn't have mana either. Okay. So maybe things are not that terrible. Going to tap the villain. Okay, so at least the villain is getting tapped and not the City of Brass, which would be very painful. But we have the second villain. Guess what? Okay, black mana now. I suppose something is wrong with the opponent, because AI is not really attentive, not very skillful. Okay. Doesn't really understand what can be done with the cards that he has in hand. And alright, so gotta think fast here. The biggest troublemaker is Icy Manipulation, even though it is also library, but I just feel like we are never going to win when there is Icy Manipulator, because it's going to do a ton of terrible things. So let's try to get rid of Icy. Okay, so Icy Manipulator now is, let's check that, red. Therefore, we can use Flesh Flood. I wouldn't say that Flesh Flood is strictly worse than Blue Elemental Blast. There can be a couple of weird cases where you would prefer to return target mount into owner's hand, but still. But it's nice to have these cards in Legends, you know, even though they're almost identical, but still. Okay, yeah, so no mana to activate that. So at least we have got two guys. All right, so here is Stasis. Yeah, you know what? I think our opponent made a terrible mistake, because won't be able to pay for Stasis. Therefore, I shouldn't even be bothered with Stasis, but I should destroy all the men of the sea. With Spinal Villain, of course. So yeah, it just doesn't work. Just doesn't work. Okay. So, let's see. Here you go. Stasis is gone. Old Man steals Spinal Villain. And then we untap and destroy Old Man of the Sea, of course. Okay, so things are not that bad. Things are not that bad. And we have got a couple of cards. Disenchant the tome. Yeah, so one of the things we would be able to do, and it does work properly, is painting disenchant and then countering it. So, you know, if we had Chaoslace or Thoughtlace, but sadly we don't. So, yeah, nothing we can do here. I mean, we still have it pretty good. And here is a clone. Yes, okay. I guess I will just destroy it. Because we have to pick up the pace and attack with our very slow but cute Spinal Villains. I don't know. To me, it's not a scary card. It's goofy. It's weird. It's fun, really. I like it. Okay, now Sarah Angel is trouble. Sarah Angel is trouble, and yeah, so that's your lay druid that you needed to use for stasis, of course. All right, so I cannot do anything against Sarah Angel. But now we have several cards that can help us. That would be Sleight of Mind. We can just say that Spinal Villain is capable of destroying white cards. So yeah, there is still hope. There is still hope, but it also depends on what our opponent has. Yeah, sadly that works. Again, nothing I can do. Attack me. Oh, and here is the second angel. Oh my god. No. So attack me for 8. Okay, this is the last chance. And nothing. So, yeah. Sadly, that's it. But okay, let's go to the third game. So yeah, this is the thing with this deck, because with this deck, you either lose rather fast, or you win, but you never know until pretty much the very last turns that you have won. Because it's not that you're usually capable of establishing control over the board. So it's really the hard mode. It really is the hard mode. Even with the opponent that doesn't play so well, with this AI, still. I'm not even sure that there is counter magic in this deck, by the way. It is a tournament deck from way back. Howling Mine, now that's interesting. Because I might be the one who is actually taking advantage of Howling Mine here. And I don't know. Should we destroy Howling Mine after we drew this extra card? I think we should. I think we shouldn't risk it. And just destroy it. Okay. All right. So, beasts. Okay. Nothing I could do. Oh, Chaoslace would be nice, because then we would be able to paint Swords to Plowshares. Okay, here is the villain. Let's try that. We're getting another copy of Swords. We are. But should I try to save him? It's just a 1/1 creature after all. I do not know. Well, just to show you how it works. So we paint it red. Okay, so now we look at the card detail and look, the frame has changed, so it is red. Therefore, we can say counter target red spell. It is on the stack, so we counter it. And there is control magic. Serves me right. Yeah, if it's not one thing, then another. All right, then. So, you know, it's just too much hassle. Or should we, or is it too much hassle? I don't know. Let's try. I don't know. There are two things we can do. So we can either try to get the villain back, just doing 2 for 1. So, you know, I have already invested so many cards into this villain. So I'm going to paint Control Magic red, and then I'm going to destroy it, because it is, gotta be careful not to kill the villain. Oh my god. No, okay, it just had to happen. It just had to happen. All right. But then again, we made our opponent waste so many resources, and so far we're getting the better of this exchange, probably because we have got the Tome. And also we have got Brain Geyser. So I don't know, it could be risky. Again, probably there is no counter magic, so let's try to just draw 6 cards. No 6, but 5. Okay. Yes. Here we have all of the cards that we wanted. Not so much actually is brought in. So, okay, there is Kismet. Not really afraid of it, to be honest with you. Okay. All right. Emerald. Okay, end of turn, we will draw. No matter the damage. And here are the beasts. All right. Wrath of God. Now, can we do anything? Sadly, no. No. Again, we got the blue part of the deck. When you get the wrong half of the deck, you have to mix red and the blue cards on this deck in order to make it work. So, okay, that's a shame. I will draw in response. And here's the druid. Okay, I'm not worried so far. Not worried, really. Okay, also we have a ton of cards. His attack, how dare you? The druid is not for attacking. And here is the doppelganger. Now, let's see. I think I will draw in response from Ancestral. Then, because, you know, I want to make it 2 for 2. We will kill druid in response. Then doppelganger will become useless or not. Yeah, doppelganger will become useless because it will be 0/0 and it will immediately die, right? That's what I think, at least. Well, okay, let's see how it actually resolves. Not going to, you know, think too much about that, because I think it should work. Okay, so it's blue because of our Thoughtlace, and then we destroy... Wait, it's always better to use... Okay, I'm going to cancel it because it's always better to do it like this. Wait. That was the right play. Okay. Okay, this resolves, comes into play, dies. Right? Doppelganger, 0/0, immediately dies. Okay, so yeah, well played, well played. Kind of patting myself on the back for this. Again, there's just so many interesting combinations. So much interesting stuff going on with this deck. And yeah, too many cards now. Let's see. Draw. So to be careful which lands we're using. All right. Draw again. So beasts. I really would like to showcase this Elder Spawn here, but I'm not sure that it's happening. What are we going to do? Painting blue, red blast. Okay, I think we have too many lands, so it's safe to do that. Sarah Angel. Okay. All right. And the clone. Yes, so I will do that again. But yeah, it wouldn't work the same way now. Yeah, it wouldn't work the same way. Because now... But look, that's actually very interesting. Because, okay, let's just say we let it resolve. But we do kill Sarah Angel in response. So it comes into play, and it'll be 3/3, because I do not have white permanents, whereas our opponent does. Therefore, our Beasts of Bogardan will be 4/4, and also have protection from red, and the Beasts of Bogardan are red. Okay. And also, yeah, but I mean, we only have one red elemental blast. All right, so in any case, this is what I'm going to do, because 2 angels, that's just too much. So again, got to be very careful. It's better to play Seeking's Blessing. Yes, so Seeking's Blessing. This is blue now. Okay, resolves. And now we cast Red Elemental Blast. Destroy this permanent. Okay. Now comes into play, becomes Beasts of Bogardan. Our Beasts of Bogardan is 4/4, and our opponent's Beast of Bogardan is only 3/3. And again, protection from black to boot. So that's very nice. Alright then. And we have also got Spinal Villain. And, okay. Just play one more land. Alright. So far so good, I guess. But yeah, this one says protection from red. So yeah, that would be very nice, you know. This is what I was talking about. Protection from red. Technically, I can change it from protection from red to, let's say, protection from green. Then I can, for example, say that Spinal Villain is able to kill red creatures, but it wouldn't work. It wouldn't work. At least it wouldn't work on mobile. But is it worth trying? I don't know. I think it is worth trying. Why not? Or we can just use Blue Elemental Blast. We can just use Blue Elemental Blast. Yeah. Why should we overcomplicate things, actually? Yeah, 3 cards, okay. I'm going to draw as well. And counter that. That was a good call. Right? Nice. Okay. So it looks like we're getting closer to victory because of our tremendous card advantage. Drawing 2 cards, 2 extra cards. And here is Elder Spawn. Oh no, I got too greedy. Or perhaps too impatient, I would say. So, turns out that there is mana drain, sadly, in this deck. So yeah, no flavor of points for me, sadly. Okay, we got a ton of nice cards. Gotta get rid of this. Okay. It's not that our opponent is going to do something spectacular. We practically have won now. Yeah. Disenchant. Okay, I will draw in response. I will draw again. So yeah, we won. Okay. Yeah, it's very long games, but still I want to show you how it works. And spoiler alert, it's pretty bad against some, let's say, Black Weenie deck, for instance. It practically doesn't stand a chance. Okay, so you see Hymn, Order, turn 1. Pretty much nothing I can do. And Hymn again. And we are left with an empty hand, I guess. And okay, the third Hymn. What can go wrong here for our opponent? And Mind Twist to boot. Okay, perfect. Can I at least do something? Okay, here is a Spinal Villain. Bad Moon. Okay, also you gotta appreciate our opponent's politeness, not pumping the order every time. I've noticed it with the AI here, that AI doesn't usually pump unless it is for lethal, which is a bit weird, but that's how it works. Okay, now we have to chump block, which is a shame. Another order, okay. So look, absolutely nothing that can be done. And also our opponent had a very good hand. Yeah, I'm not going to bother with the sideboard here. This is a pretty good hand, but it's not that we stand a chance, really. Okay, nothing. Maybe our opponent just got a very bad starting hand. Let's see. Can we start destroying lands like we did last time? We can. We can. Why don't we do that? Why don't we do that? Destroy this blue swamp. Blue swamp actually sounds pretty beautiful. Okay, him. Alright. I can draw one, of course, but of course there's the hippie. But we do have this. Painted blue and destroyed with active volcano. So at least we're alive for now. But not for long. Okay. Yeah. That's sadly what I told you about. So, Sleight of Mind wouldn't work with Red Elemental Blast. So this card has to be blue from the start. Okay. Bad Moon. Okay. I don't know. Draw one. Now we have to get very lucky. Not to lose to the... Oh, no, okay. If we're talking about 2 Hypnotic Spectres, we cannot get that lucky. Okay. And now, this is pretty much this discard lock. You know, just like with Hypnotic Spectre, technically, you cannot win after it starts happening. Well, number one, here's the random discard, and that discard in Disrupting Scepter is not random, but what I'm talking about is that we always need 2 cards for our combo, right? And if you draw a card and then you discard it, so yeah, basically with 0 cards in hand, you cannot ever recover, because even if you draw the right cards, then every time you do something, this card will be discarded by Disrupting or Hypnotic in this case. Okay, so anyway, we lost. That's how it should be. We got really lucky in the first match. So there it is, one of the jankiest decks I have had. If somebody has attempted to do something like that, perhaps not pushing the theme so much and maybe playing with some more useful stuff, just let me know. I would be very curious to know. So thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.